Ze stoppen meteen met praten. Waar had je dit op gebaseerd?
Een vegan rap is het.
Echt? Welke vegan rap? Is die
Luister gehoord.
Cucumber?
Hello, good evening everyone. Welcome to this fourth edition of RAAF. So good to see so many of you here tonight. My name is Michiel. I'm one of the organizers of RAAF together with Esther. And and Lodewijk, but he fell ill unfortunately, so he's sick at home. Also, one of the speakers had to cancel, Lenneke van Gaal. So we decided to shorten the program a little bit. And we plan to finish around 9 o'clock. And then there will be drinks, snacks, and some stands here and outside, just outside the doors. One thing I want to mention is that we'll have some stands. There's one by the 10% Club. They're in the back over there. And they focus on effective giving. So they know everything about animal charities that you can donate to and which ones are the most effective ones. There will be people from animal rights. They're over there. They have 2 petitions that you can sign. One is about closing slaughterhouses that break the rules. And the other one is against animal testing. So maybe as a first act of activism tonight, you can sign one of their petitions or both of them. And then we have some free stickers and flyers over there, which you can take. And we'll have some delicious vegan snacks made by Maria over there. Some homemade vegan cheeses, salmon, and other stuff, so definitely worth a try. And now let me introduce to you the moderator of tonight, Chip. He's over there. Yes, Chip he's a vegan YouTuber, one of the most famous vegan YouTubers here in the Netherlands, I would say. He's also one of the most prolific activists here in the Netherlands, hitting the streets 3-4 times a week to speak up for animals and speak to people. And other than that, yeah, I would say he's smart, he's funny, he got good muscles. So please give it up for Chip.
Okay, so hello everyone. So I've been asked to kind of warm you up, so I'm gonna need you to make a line here and we're gonna start never mind. I have a weird type of humor, but we're gonna start warming up by asking a couple of questions just to see kind of who is amongst us. And feel free if you don't like them to kind of shove them. Okay, who here is vegan? Raise your hand. Oh shit, okay, who isn't vegan? Raise your hand. Oh damn, you feel really isolated, huh? Okay, feel free to boo them later. Okay, it's fine, it's all good. Okay, okay, who here is vegan for more than a year? That's pretty good. Okay, who still remembers how cheese tastes like? Oh, okay, a lot of people still remember that. Okay, let's see. Who here is a super vegan? Yeah, you see? You're kind of wondering what is a super vegan, but you'll know it when you see it. Yeah, that's good. Okay, who here has done animal rights activism, has spoken up for the animals? Okay, a lot of people, I love it. Okay, how many of you think that plants have feelings? Okay, a couple of people think plants have feelings. That's interesting. Okay, interesting. Okay, okay, let's see. I mean, that's an interesting crowd. Okay. You know, I do a lot of street outreach, as I say, and I meet a lot of people. A lot of people bring up the plants have feelings situation. I explain to them that, well, they don't have a brain, so how can they have feelings without a brain? But, you know, I'm sure some of these people will explain to us later how plants have feelings. But, you know, I'm very interested in this situation. Like, if you're here because you want to become an activist, raise your hand. Okay. You're already an activist. Okay, okay, okay. Is anybody here a super vegan that isn't an activist? What's a super vegan? I'm glad you asked. Yeah, so, well, a super vegan is one of those vegans who you don't just, you say, I'm vegan, but then every time you enter a room, you also say, I'm vegan, right? Like you enter the room, I'm vegan, hello. That's basically what a super vegan is, and yeah. Yeah, see, you know it, you know it. That's how I enter a room also. Literally, you know, like for some people, the door makes the noise. For me, it makes vegan, vegan. And then I just enter it, whatever. I feel like I'm doing a stand-up. I wasn't here to do a stand-up. I don't know why I feel like I'm doing a stand-up, sorry. Yeah. I'm getting nervous now, like, okay, no. I mean, you know, it's gonna be a great night. We're gonna be having a lot of speeches. Oh, who here has been for the previous edition, 3rd edition? That's a pretty good turnout, okay. For the 2nd edition? Okay, and the 1st edition? Wait, more people have been for the 1st one than the 2nd one? That's weird. I guess you were busy or something, right? I mean, life happens. I get that. Okay. Well, this is the 4th edition. It's going to be great. We're going to be having a lot of speakers, and I mean, yeah. I want to say I can easily pronounce all those names, but I can. Yeah. And I hope you learned something from this. I hope it incentivizes you to go out there and do some street outreach. I like to tell people that. You know, I do this outreach live on YouTube, and I tell a lot of people the same thing. Even if you just go once and you have a conversation with people about animals, even if you just explain to people that, hey, animals are not objects, it's insane how many people think. Raise your hand if you think an animal is an object. Thank you. That's good. Because it's insane how many people on the street think that animals are kind of, they're somewhere in between an object or an individual. They're not like humans. I mean, humans are, you know, the best. Sure. I see Palestinian lives matter over there, and I'm like, yeah, sure, humans are the best. No, as in, I'm for Palestine, just to be clear, yeah. But it's just fucked up what we do there. Okay, well, I guess, does anybody feel warm? Yeah. Okay. Can I get a woo? Okay, can I get a woo? Okay, that's good. Can I get a okay, that's a good start. Okay. Well then, thank you for coming here. I hope you enjoyed the talks. And my favorite is Alexandra. She's gonna rock. So she's kind of at the end. She's gonna do an amazing job. But you know.
Thank you.
Yeah. Put pressure on her. That's what we love. But everyone's gonna be great. Okay, so. Are you going to present the first person? Yes. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Wait, I want to try and pronounce the name, okay?
Yeah.
Lamar van Raan. Yeah. Lamar van Raan? Okay, I got this, okay.
Yes, so our first speaker of the night is Lamar van Raan. He's a former member of parliament for the Party for the Animals. And while he was in parliament, he worked on the Climate Law 1.5 and on a proposal to criminalize ecocide. And he's going to tell us more about that today. I think in February, if I'm correct, a new book came out called Hope in the Time of Ecocide. Lamar edited that book together with Femke Weidekop. And yeah, that's what he's going to talk about today. He's going to offer us some hope in the time of ecocide. So, Lamar.
Thank you. What all the tools. What do I do with this?
Clip it.
All right, clip it. Everybody see me clipping? Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, thank you, and thank you. Oh, there we go.
Okay, just
stay like this.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
We're back.
Back in business. Okay, so make a little bit of space here. So yeah, thank you for coming in this warm evening, and this evening is about campaigning and activism, and about hope. So the first story I want to share with you was actually today, where I was in a symposium, and there was this this person who just got her approval to become a PhD at Oxford to study and to further research something that is for the, I would say, the normal society, the normal thing, which is factory farming for animals. So she's going to study her PhD on ecocide, the ecocidal chain of animal mass production. And I think that's wonderful, because the scientific body of knowledge on factory farming and animal farming is, the thing is, it's normalized. And what she will do is she put the relationship between ecocide, the ecocidal chain of animal farming, with in a scientific research. And I thought that was wonderful news. Don't you think? I think. Okay. So 3 subjects that I'd like to share with you. This is about ecocide and ecocide law. So this is activism as lawmaking. I want to tell you something about this book, Hope in Times of Ecocide. This is activism in terms of publishing. And then if there is time left, there is something I want to share with you, a new project which has to do with indigenous knowledge and lawmaking. But first, I really feel the need to acknowledge something to you, and it's something that I felt for a long time, but never spoke about, and that is the fact that it's my generation who caused the biggest acceleration in climate change. It was my generation and of my parents. So when I was born in the 60s of the previous century, the carbon count in the atmosphere was around 320 parts per million, and now it's around 420. And World Overshoot Day, when I was young, was in December of this year. Everybody knows, I assume, what World Overshoot Day is? Does everybody know what? Yeah? Okay, so because I can't see you, so it's hard to. Anyway, so there was an end of December, as it should be. And nowadays it's in July 24. And for the Netherlands, it's in May. So I grew up in the north of the Netherlands, at the border of the Waddenzee. And she was a very abundant friend, I would say. But I didn't grasp the vulnerability of her, and now I can. And you might say it's about bloody time, you knew. But in telling you this, first of all, because I want you to know I'm very aware of this perpetratorship. And because of these facts, perhaps it should make me stand back and shut the fuck up, because, you know, what can I bring, and do no more harm. On the other hand, and this is also what I like to bring, it also gives me the energy to be a campaigner for ecocide law. And that brings me to the first thing, this ecocide law. And here I want to pay a tribute to, in fact, 4 women and a man: Polly Higgins, Olivia ter Gouw, Femke Weidekop, Lydia Schouten, and Wouter Veening. And Polly Higgins was the Scottish barrister who brought the concept of ecocide again to the forefront in the public eye. And she had this light bulb moment, she told, in around 2010, that she all of a sudden had this realization, is that the earth doesn't have a lawyer, and the earth should have a lawyer. So she put the ecocide movement again on in the spotlight. And Olivia, Femke, Wouter and Lydia were, for me, the persons who brought that to the Netherlands around 10 years ago. And ecocide, it's shortly the killing of nature. Let's put it that way. I mean, books are written about it, but it's the killing of nature by humans. For me, also was a light bulb moment. How is it possible that killing of nature is not in a book of law? Because what I didn't realize at the time, and now I do, and perhaps it's something, if it's not in a criminal code, you can't punish. Because you can only punish things that are in criminal law. So from the moment I got that light bulb moment, and again, rather late in my case, I've been busy and active to get ecocide law in Parliament. So what shall I say a bit more about that? So and ecocide law, you don't make that alone. So we make that with a lot of persons. And I think that's one of the other things. I think you recognize it, is you can only do that if you do that with a lot of persons. If you have a team and you work on that topic. And we had a very good team. I want to acknowledge here Judith Alkema, Femke Weidekop, Ape van Wijk. And those, together with a whole bunch of other people, we made an ecocide law, which is currently in Parliament, which is the good news. The bad news is I don't know what's happening with it. So we put it into Parliament. We had the Council of State gave their comments. I will tell you a bit more about what the comments were and what the outcome was. Again, the thing about ecocide is that once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And so I think it's very heartening to know, and perhaps for you to learn, is that it's all around the world. You have over 30 to 40 initiatives going on at this moment to have ecocide law in the criminal law present. But I can tell you, and it's something also very important, perhaps it's something not important, but very striking. It's not a nice conversation you have. Perhaps you recognize, you can relate to that, being a vegan. It's not a nice conversation you have with lawyers or with companies, because they know once ecocide law is a reality, they're in trouble. And again, being a perpetrator, as I said, gives me the energy to work on the project. So the second thing is I want to discuss with you is activism by publication. It's the book Femke Weidekop and I edited. And as you can see, ironically, it is called Hope in Tide of Ecocide. Ironically here, because it's an English session, it was translated from an English book called Faith Voices for Ecocide Law. And we took, of the 10 stories, we changed 5 around and we made 10 stories in total. So it's a collection of 10 stories from world religion and indigenous spiritual traditions. And rather to tell you about it, I'd like to have the voices in the book speak for themselves, shortly as it may be, but perhaps later we can discuss them some more in detail. I had the book with me, but I also wrote it down. So the first one, which made an impression on me, was Doreen van Norren. She's a Dutch legal researcher. And she explains, again, the very normality of law. And it's actually, she calls it a legal positivism. Something is right because it's the law. And that is something that came up during the Enlightenment, that when it is written in law, it must be okay. And if you act according to the law, you're the right person. And in fact, that has poisoned our minds for 3 centuries now and gave rise, and she calls that, is lawful, but it's awful. And that gains more and more recognition. And then we have Helene Lindmark. She tells about the Sami perspective. It's from the north. And she says, she asks, how much is enough? And the thing she states in her essay is, there are no boundaries between the material and spiritual world. And of course, that is also something that in the Western world we have forgotten. The Hindu perspective, Saraswati. The world is one family, and the world has enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed. I think people from the Party for the Animals recognize that term, and that is true. Plant-based food can feed over calculated more than 10 billion people. Let's hope it doesn't get that far. Jamie Creswell, Buddhism, the entire world is a collective, and he speaks of ecosattva. Ecosattva is, funnily enough, it's called a Buddhistic activism. battling greed, bad will, and ignorance. And then we come to, in my opinion, very interesting, because we have an Islam perspective and a Jewish perspective. And the Islam perspective, it's Sheikh Murad, he says, certainly to violate the order of creation and the balance of the world is a crime against the Almighty, as well as a crime against creatures. And it was just pointed out that there was, about Gaza, the Rabbi Jonathan Nerel says, in fact, the same. He says he agrees with Sheikh Murad that violation of the order of creation needs to be restored. And I will say something in the end about my feelings on this, because it's very, well, I will tell you now, by the way, because it's very easy to become cynical about these types of utterances. When you see the violence, for instance, Israel is now perpetrating, how can it be that you have in the Jewish religion these type of wisdom and at the same time doing this crime? I'll tell you later what I think about that. So again, also you can be very cynical about the next one. This is Ian Parra, a Catholic philosopher. He said, ecocide is the abuse of power of humanity against the environment. And mostly along the lines of Islam says, because God blessed all that was created, man cannot be destructive, greedy, and predatory. Not predatory, and coming from a Catholic priest. But I will tell you later what I think about it. James Bhagwan from the Pacific Conference of Churches, and he states, celebrate life above the material. In the Pacific normal, life is significant, valued and celebrated. There is a celebration of life over material wealth, spirituality, family life, traditional economy, cultural values, mutual care. These is what is called over there the Pacific basket or Pacific mud. And they don't make it's a very interesting, I would say almost pragmatic combination of Christianity and indigenous knowledge. And then his last one will be Raki Ab. Maybe some of you know them. He's from West Papua, campaigner. And he says, well, he says a lot of things, but in the concept of the book, he says we are equal to nature, to the river, to the mountains, and the animals. As part of a problem, he coins the term of a terror consumption. And so by now you probably get the gist of all those stories. Evelyn Tucker, she is from University of Yale, founding member of the Earth Charter. She summarized it in 6 principles, you could say. I won't repeat it, but a few of them is respect for all human life, reciprocity in human nature relations, restraint in use of natural resources. And so this is the book. And again, I'm not a believer myself. So when Femke Weidekop and I made this, it was very interesting. No, not interesting. It was, again, very easy for me to become cynical about these types of essays. And again, when you see that what is perpetrated in Israel and the belief systems or in other religions, I mean, it boggles the mind. How can you? Okay, so at first I must admit I thought, well, I cannot work on this project because I think I do think plants have feeling, but so everybody's entitled to their own. But you can choose to look at, for instance, again, what violence is committed in the name of all these religions. But then I wrote in the introduction, to me, spiritual and religious communities share a deeply felt connection with nature, and love and respect for nature run like a golden thread through the many stories these communities tell. And this feeling of being connected to one another and to nature is a true source of well-being and happiness. And then, is it then not, I wrote, one of the great mysteries of our time that the earth is collapsing under the assault of all the crimes we commit against her. So on the one hand, we have these wonderful principles, and on the other hand, we have this unimaginable, visible and tangible violence. But it's about unimaginable and tangible, and that is exactly where we find the hope, because it is a core value, you could say, or a core powerful strength of these religious and indigenous knowledge, that you make the invisible and the unimaginable, you make it visible, and that is exactly where the hope lies. So, in writing this book, you cannot feel but overwhelmed by the shared feelings of all those principles that run through the religious, I would say, mono religions, but also the indigenous wisdom. So that's what we hope to portray with the book, Hope in Times of Ecocide. And then the last part, do I have time for the last part? Where's the timekeeper?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Right, okay. So the last part, and this came about from this project, but also from the Ecocide Law project, where somebody from an indigenous community came to me and spoke, so Lamar, this is interesting, this book and this Ecocide Law, but how indeed is the indigenous perspective represented in this Ecocide Law that you and a number of people introduced? And I must admit, I was at first a bit annoyed, to be honest, because I thought, well, a party for the animals, Eco-Central, Ecocide Law, well, it's a pretty inclusive bunch of subjects in which the indigenous perspective is well presented. Of course, that was not the case. That was not the case. So the third thing I want to tell you about is about innovation of law. So we set up with Myra Colis. She's an indigenous from the Philippines, from the Incarat peoples, and Samuel Saureka, who's from the Molucca, the Alifuru peoples. We won a prize actually to see and to research together with a number of experts how we can introduce indigenous principles, like written in the book, how we can try and find these indigenous principles and write them in every preamble of a law, a treaty, or a law or treaty, an overeenkomst. Help me out here.
Future.
Sorry?
In the future.
In the future? Overeenkomst? Agreement. Thank you.
Agreement.
Thank you. For in the future.
Yeah,
yeah, okay. So what we do here is we try to assemble these principles, put them in the preamble in such a way that when the law that is not according to that preamble, the peoples themselves can go to court and say, hey, you said this principle, for instance, of reciprocity, or think ahead like 5 generations. It is not represented in the law, or the law doesn't work out this way. You have a case to go to court. So this is the third example, I would say, of activism, which is about innovation of law and really bringing indigenous perspective into Western law. Because I said at the beginning, lawful has become awful. So, thank you. Questions now or later?
Well, we're going to take some questions now, but I'll start with the easy question first. So you spoke a lot about religions. I'm an anti-religion person, so I'll just say it from the
Bring
start.
it on.
But my question is, do you believe that religions, although indeed they serve to share a couple of rules that people can follow and thus create some form of moral ground for people to just simply follow, but do you think that only serves to put people in a box and not let them actually think outside of their box and use religion as a justification to commit these violences?
Yeah, yeah.
Because that has been my impression as an activist on the street, that most people, in fact, even if it is highly illogical, what they do, what we do to animals, and it isn't even in line with any of the principles that their religions share, they still use religion as an excuse for what they do.
Yeah. I think we can do without the microphone, right?
I mean, the microphone is for the live, but we have this one.
Is
hand,
it
so
loud?
it's
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No, so this is exactly the thing I said in the beginning. It's easy, very easy for me to be very cynical.
Yeah.
For instance, when a Catholic says about the behavior of humans trying to control.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't get us started,
Yeah.
right?
We know what Catholics have done to children.
Yeah. And so I don't think I made myself clear enough, so that's on me. But you can choose, you can, and for me that was a choice, and also in writing.
Yeah.
I'm not a religious person as well.
Yeah.
You can choose to look at what the principles are, and how to live, and how to perhaps even put those principles, universal principles, because we call them indigenous, but perhaps they're universal.
I like that.
And put that into law, which is a tremendous job, of course, because a lot of those principles are not even written down. So how do you go do that?
Yeah.
But it's about the principle of caring, of loving, of seeing that we are not separate from nature, that you find in those, I would say, those books, those religious, those communities.
Yeah.
And then you have people.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And it's very easy to, indeed, God knows that the Bible gives enough tools to suppress, to kill, to maim, to whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
That is true. But you can choose to look at the messages and act accordingly.
I guess my question was like a little bit personal towards you. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a world where there is no religion, none of these rules, and we just teach people maybe some ground
rules?
Yeah, but nothing that says, well, if you don't follow them, you're gonna burn in hell.
Can I choose here?
Yeah, I'm curious. What would you choose? I'm just curious.
And again, what's the choice?
So would you
no
choose
religion,
a world with no religion, right,
Yeah.
where people will no longer be bound to one box?
but we have the same principles?
Essentially, the principles could still arrive by means of education, but they're not guaranteed, right? Like you could, at the end of the day, you could still have these principles educated into people, but people may still choose to not follow them.
Yeah. I think deep in my heart, I would choose no religion.
Yeah.
But I'm too invested, spoiled or invested with the evil religion has done.
Yeah. I get you.
So, but when I speak to some, and we talk about world religions, religions, but then again, and then you speak to adherents of those religions and the love and the understanding and the unity. So, as a moral system, and in fact, I forgot to mention, we have 10. All these 10 stories represent 3/4 of humanity.
Oh, nice.
And their leaders, I pointed there because I thought I had the book here, but their leaders all are in favor of ecocide law. I'm not too, if they say let's have ecocide law and we have ecocide law in place, I would be very happy.
Yeah, I like that.
So it's a bit instrumental.
It's a bit, I see what
I'd rather do without because that's my spoiling. It has the same with. But it's not about me. Why are you talking about me?
I was
It's
just
about-
curious. I was
okay,
just
okay.
curious.
Sorry,
Does
sorry.
anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, not about me. Oh, well, yeah.
We have a question here. Oh, you had a question?
Yeah, just you said you were going to
come back to something in the beginning that you filed for laws.
Yeah.
And it was in process,
Yeah.
but you don't know what's happening to it. And I just wonder, now what? Like,
Ah, you're very sharp. I hope nobody would ask that question.
This one just for clarity.
So, okay, yeah. Do your worst.
That's it.
Well, once you're in Parliament, you can make laws and you do what you want, basically. But once you're out Parliament, it's out of your hands. So it's like your child that goes out in the world and what she or her does. But so the law itself passed on to my successor, and it's up to the fractie of the Partij voor de Dieren, there are 3 now, to choose what they do with it. So it is officially in the pipeline, but since November 23, the Council of State has commented on it, which is part of the legal proceedings. But there has been no response yet. So it's up to them, basically.
so no idea how long that will take.
Well, from what I gather, is that what they will do is the law itself, it's a bit technical, sorry about that. The law itself coincides with the European guideline on environmental crime. It's an environmental crime directive. And the European directive has to be translated into national law. And from what I gather is they will take elements of the ecocide law and put that as a bill of change of the transposition, what the Netherlands does with the environmental crime directive. So it's probably taken some ideas of the ecocide law and try to get those in the law that the government has to make because of the environmental crime directive. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so yeah.
Definitely complicated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and let's leave it at that. But very sharp.
Okay.
That was it?
We're out of time right
Yep,
now for
okay.
questions. Well, can we get another round of applause for Lamar?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. The next speaker I actually know personally. During our last RAAF, she walked up to me. I was in the kitchen organizing in the background. And she asked me if I was part of the organization and if I would be interested in joining her community, Vegan Girls Club. And I was, ever since I started joining the WhatsApp groups that she has, and the many, many super awesome events that she organizes. And I'm happy to now call her one of my friends. She is going to talk about the importance of community building within the vegan activism movement. And I give the floor to Kaja Mak. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm also very lucky to call her my friend now. So, guys, you already seen my back, so I'm gonna turn around again because I think you're really crazy of being here today. I don't know if you've seen the weather forecast or if you've been outside, but like everyone is in the Vondel Park drinking beer and sunbathing. And you here, what means you really care. And I do care as well, and I call myself a lover because my heart beats for animals, and my heart beats also to people like you. So big, big, big thank you for organizing and also for being here tonight. My name is Kasia. I moved to Amsterdam with my boyfriend, who's there taking a picture of me. Hi, Tetian, and our lovely dog, Tai. We all vegan. We small, happy vegan family now. We moved here from Poland 6 years ago, so you can trust me, pierogi, Polish dumplings, and hospitality are in my blood. So it's very natural for me to bring people together and host parties. I spent something like 10, 15 years working for big corporates in brand management and communication. A few years ago, following my green heart, I decided to switch more to communication for good, creativity for good, for protein transition, food and sustainability. I've been doing a lot of vegan activism at the corporate level, so I could give another talk about that. However, it cost me a job, so I don't know if I'm the example to follow. I'm vegan for 5.5 years now. I went vegan after I moved to the Netherlands when I got engaged in the Veganuary campaign. Before I was vegetarian, but before I was vegetarian, there is a very dirty truth about me, because I work for Burger King. I absolutely enjoyed working for Burger King. This is one of the most creative brands in the world. It's like Oatly for meat. So as a marketer, I really had a blast. Till this very magical moment when something clicked, and I was like, oh, a Whopper is a cow. Something doesn't sit right. So how exactly it happened? There were big fires in the Amazon forest. I think it was 2018. And for a reason from school times, I remember, oh my God, if we're gonna lose the Amazon forest, we're gonna die, there will be no air. So I really get stressed about that. And that was the first time when in a Polish media, there was a coverage about beef impact on the deforestation and things happening, like what's the beef impact on the environment. So I started asking questions internally. No one wanna talk about that. It was still before the CSR, ESG, companies were not reporting on the environmental impact at all. I also started feeling, okay, like the cows are involved to produce Whoppers. I was very successful at my job, so we were often laughing with my friends that the more Whoppers I'm selling, the less meat I'm eating. I became flexitarian, then vegetarian. And I had this very big moral dilemma, like what to do with my life, how I can continue. But also something very, very fun happened. I went to Miami, like who wouldn't enjoy, right? In Miami, we had the global headquarters of Burger King. That was 2019. And as you can see at the picture, we had a new product development session. They gave us something to try. It was like a patty, a piece of meat, as I thought. And then they told us it's made out of plants. That was absolutely mind-blowing. Like, I didn't know anyone who would be vegan. We didn't have any plant-based products in Poland. That was not mainstream anywhere in the world. Like, we had tofu, but not really the plant-based category. So I thought, oh my God, we're gonna save the planet. Everyone gonna go vegan if we can produce meat from plants. Like, what's the excuse? Like, it's so amazing. So I came back to Poland. I convinced our management board to launch it across 5 or 6 markets because we were working in the region. I wasn't a hero. The vegan community ate me alive. So yeah, that was the biggest PR crisis I managed in my life. Everyone was so angry and so pissed off that the Burger King is launching the vegan product. But I kept the inspiration. I'm a warrior. I was looking for more solutions. I moved abroad. I left the Burger King behind, and the only thing I can regret now is that I didn't go vegan earlier. Probably because I didn't know anyone being vegan, not even vegetarian, and I didn't have any inspiration or the support group to do it. And the moment I became vegan advocate was already in Amsterdam, as I told you, after the Veganuary campaign. And I started looking for the inspiration, and a support group was feeling super lonely. I had to fly overseas to find my vegan girls. I first went to New York for the Vegan Women Summit, which was one of the best parties in my life. Can you imagine? It was like 1,000 women coming together in Brooklyn, New York, having fun, talking business, talking health, talking vegan innovation, talking whatever you can vegan imagine, eating food and dancing during the breaks. I'm also very excited. We're going to have some music tonight. A year later, I flew to Hollywood. You know, like being vegan is taking me to the very crazy places in the world. I don't know if you recognize this guy, But when I was much younger, I was dancing in the clubs to the I'm sexy and I know it, right? So the guy is vegan now, and he gave us a private concert, and he was singing I'm vegan and I know it. He's also sober, he's producing non-alcoholic alcohol, and he's writing vegan books for children. So it's really like being vegan can be so much fun. I was so excited, but every time I was coming back to Europe, to Amsterdam, I was like, oh, I'm so lonely and I go out, I don't have vegan friends, I need to explain myself, like something didn't really sit right. So that was the moment when I realized that it's not that easy to be vegan. It's not that easy to be a vegan woman. It's not that easy to be a vegan woman that wanna use her voice to inspire change because no one was listening to me. And I felt lonely. So I'm a doer and I look for solutions. And I started building my own community. So it was October 2023 when I texted strangers who I thought are vegan. I find them somewhere on the internet, like on LinkedIn or Instagram. I was like, hi, I'm Kasia, I'm vegan, do you wanna go for a dinner with me? It was 13 people, 13 women. Jeanette, you were at the first dinner, right? Yeah. You see, we're still friends, we're still together. And yeah, we had a dinner, and today, 2.5 years later, this is a community of 300 members, and we're growing every day. I already hosted over 40 different events. And yeah, I will do a little bit of a self-promotion because I really care about the community growing. And if you don't follow us yet and you're not part of the community, this is us, Heartbeat, that's the current name. We started as a vegan girls, but we dropped all the labels. So please do follow, take a picture of me, tell your girlfriends, tell your friends. I really wish to bring more people to the community, and maybe one day we're gonna invite guys as well, so please stay tuned. But as I'm saying, vegan can be extremely fun, but it can be also quite lonely and challenging. So food is so social, like food is everything in our life. It's a family, friends, work, celebration. But when you change the way you eat, when you follow this good path, the better path of being vegan, you can feel so lonely because people don't get you. Unless you find the right people, so you can see around. That's one of our first events. We went to the Cas Canteen in Amsterdam to have a lovely lunch together and a garden tour. And I know I'm a white woman living in the Western society. I know that the animals are the victims of the food system, but it's still, for us vegan, it's not that easy. And I get why so many people don't go vegan if they don't feel it's exciting, fun, and like we cannot really like lead by example. And I will tell you 3 stories to justify why I unfortunately feel being vegan is not that easy. So the first picture is 2 years ago, 75th birthday of my father, a big family celebration. His birthday cake, I couldn't share it with him because it wasn't vegan. The dinner, he managed to order something vegan for me, but yeah, my uncle was calling me difficult. People were telling I'm making fuss and problems. They don't like potatoes, but at the dinner they eat potatoes, so I cannot eat meat. What's happening? And I brought a lot of very negative vibes and feelings after this very important celebration for me. And unfortunately, my father passed away a year after this picture was taken. And I have this aftertaste. I couldn't celebrate fully with him because I'm vegan. The second picture, I was graduating food and sustainability program on the European level. I went for the graduation ceremony. That was only thing I could eat for the entire day. They forgot to cook vegan at the food and sustainability certification program. We went to one of the most innovative veggie farms in Europe, and they didn't cook vegan. And in a group of 60 people graduating the program, I was the only vegan. It's food and sustainability. And how could I convince them to go vegan if I was fucking hungry for the entire day, right? Like, they didn't want to listen to me. They were having fun eating pasta and whatever they were serving, and I was like, oh my God, I want to go home. And the last one, I've been to a yoga retreat in Greece. We would think, oh, yogis, we should be vegan, right? Yeah, why not? Every day for the breakfast, I was eating Greek salad without feta, fruit without yogurt, bread without egg. And then for lunch, every day I had the same boring bowl of beans. So how could I inspire anyone to go vegan if I was suffering? There was one vegan restaurant, 1 hour walk from our retreat place. And I was trying to convince someone to go with me for a week. That's the last day, and my friend, she was the only one person that decided to walk with me. I was so happy I finally could eat something. So it took this one friend to make my life easier as a vegan. So, of course, we are still in a position of power, and we can afford, we can build our lives around the vegan lifestyle, but still there are so many difficult things we need to deal with every day. And I believe that, yeah, maybe I'm a helpless romantic, but I believe going vegan is an act of love. It's love for animals, for planet, for our healthier bodies, but I really feel the heaviness and the fact that going vegan can also break our heart, because we are facing all these social situations, but also we are exposed to animal suffering, like we feel it very deeply. We start questioning our career choices, right? Like, can we still doing what we're doing? I had to quit Burger King, I had to quit my big career. We question if we should become parents because we're vegan, right? Because, I don't know, the planet is on fire, and maybe, yeah, people will not change their eating habits, and what's the point? So there's really a lot of beauty in being vegan, but also there's this heaviness. And I started a community with the idea that together we are stronger, and the empowered woman gonna empower other women, and if we come together, like everything gonna be easier. We deserve everything that's the best in the world. We're gonna have fun, and we're gonna support each other. We're gonna find friends. We're gonna find our voices, and this is how the community is being built and how it's growing from the day one. And the community is named Heartbeat, and this is a community, but these are also events to support and empower you every stage of your vegan journey. Our mission is to both empower and strengthen the core. So for anyone who's vegan, any woman that's vegan, to really enjoy, find their friends, have a safe space to unwind, to bitch about the non-vegan world and everything happening around us, but also to attract new people. So if you're interested in going vegan but you don't know how to start, I really want to create a welcoming atmosphere and a space when people can come. I also want to make people jealous of us being vegan. So, you know, to show how we can party and like what the amazing food is there and how many friends and a social life we have after going vegan, so people can follow and can be attracted. I want everyone to rise in love with being vegan. And I think that what the vegan movement is doing very well is the animal liberation activism. Like, there's so many initiatives, and we can really speak about the animals. We're also very good with a food innovation, and the recipes, the plant-based Instagram or whatever is really booming. But what we don't talk about are vegans, and about the burnout and the retention struggles. I was even trying to find the research about that, and there is nothing. And for the world to change, we need a lot of vegans. Like, it needs to become mainstream, so we need to care about us as well. And I think I'm finding this middle ground with the community. So it's not only about animals and a food and a planet, which are the topics we deeply care about and we talk about them, but this is also a safe space to recharge your batteries as a vegan. And our theory of change is that we provide support, we grow in confidence, we start to advocate about being vegan more, because there are also many vegan people who don't talk they're vegan because they don't feel like they should in a social interactions. Then the influence grows, the behavior change follows, and then of course we reduce the animal product being used, and then we make the entire world vegan. So there are 3 key pillars how we operate as a community if you're interested. So first of all, we have the online community. We have the fun dining dinner, so we really go to the cool restaurants, to nice places. We try the chef's menu. We work with restaurants, and then we organize the skill sharing events, which I call Vegan Voices Academy, so it's easier for us to use our voice to inspire the change. And what I'm trying to do is to put the members in the heart of the experience, in the DNA of what we're doing. What I'm exploring also is the cooperation with plant-based brands and vegan businesses, because I also believe we all should grow the vegan pie together. And if you're interested what's the vibe of our dinners and where the fun comes, so that's, for example, a January dinner in the heart in Amsterdam. This is how we started the year together. Then we went to Canter for our vegan Valentine's dinner. That was the celebration. Yeah, you just see yourself. Good. Yeah, the cakes. We're gonna do, by the way, amazing cake garden party in July. So stay tuned if you fancy some amazing vegan cakes. We also do skill sharing. I reactivated the Vegan Voices Academy, as I told you, and these are the pictures from Bon Bon. So usually there's quite a big group of people coming to our events. And last but not least, we also organize more inclusive events, so you not always need to spend money for food. You can just come with a bottle of water or get a free coffee, because I'm trying to get a lot of samples for us. And this is the walk we organized for the Mother's Day. Not your mom, not your milk. And we were walking with the intention in the Vondel Park. Testimonials says it all. I could be talking ages, but I think the second one is my favorite. So our community is the only space where I can talk about tofu, burnout, and big ideas all in one thread. So that's like the vibe of what you can expect when you join us. And I really, really want to amplify our voice, use our voice to inspire change. I want for being vegan feel like something joyful, fulfilling, amazing, everyone want to be part of, not necessarily as a restricted choice and something that's limiting you from the social interactions. So guys, that's the heartbeat. That's why Vegan Journey, that's the community I'm building. You can visit us on Instagram again. You can visit our website, but it's still very in progress, so I rather recommend the Instagram. And tiny self-promotion. I'm participating now in a Bustier Bird, forgive my Dutch program, which is sponsored by Hemente and the Impact Hub. And in June, there's going to be a big voting, and we have a chance to get some grant to grow the community. So I'm going to share a link with you, and please vote for us. Thank you. Questions?
No, that's okay. Yeah. We'll ask for questions, but I just want to say, like you said this during this your presentation, that you want to make non-vegans jealous. But I think you're succeeded in making men jealous, because it's like, I don't think any of us have this, so that's amazing. So yeah, looking forward.
I see the potential, and then we can do collabs. So.
Okay, does anybody have questions?
I do have actually one also a bit about this, because when is it growing to also welcome men? When is it?
Yeah, of course. So we want to do more and more events open to many people. Like I'm talking to fellow vegans, for example. They organize a cool event open to everyone, and we're going to have a picnic together. I think with the sisterhood energy, we're creating really a safe space for women to open, so there is a beauty in it. But also, just off the record, there's a lot of vegan girls looking to date vegan men, so maybe a matching event one day.
Okay, any more questions? We got time.
Is it mostly Amsterdam?
We had our first dinner in Rotterdam last weekend, so we're growing, global expansion. Our bags, our merch were spotted in New York, so who knows? But I would love to organize events in more cities. I don't really have a capacity to do it my own, but if anyone is interested, I'm happy to chat about the collab.
We gotta talk later then.
Okay, we got to talk.
Yeah.
And maybe because we have few people from a community today, maybe we can raise a hand. So you also, if you want to ask some questions later, you see like a nice representation, you can ask other women, not only me, about the community.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, we already learned what inspired you to do this, but I'm curious, what inspires you every day to go ahead and support this community? Because I'm sure supporting such a big community and having such a big goal is not necessarily easy, but you seem to be successful at it.
Yeah,
so
you know, I killed so many cows in my life working for Burger King. I'm simply trying to pay back.
Fair enough, fair enough, okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough,
so
okay.
you're also quite lucky with me because I'm absolutely a people pleaser, so I want to make everyone happy. So whenever you have a problem, come to me, I'm going to solve it.
We got one more question.
Yeah, given your career that you had with Burger King, have you ever considered to apply that skill set for like a plant-based company?
I would love to, but they don't really want to hire me. So that's very interesting with being vegan, trying to work for vegan companies. The majority of vegan companies I know, they don't hire people because they are vegan. So when you're applying for jobs, you're competing with everyone on the market. And then non-vegan companies don't want to hire you specifically because you're vegan. So then your choice is really limited. But of course, I have so many years of a corporate experience. In a month, I'm flying to Cannes for the biggest marketing festival. So I'm still in this corporate network. And I hope to use the learnings in the communication of a community, but maybe one day I'm going to step into. Do you have a job offer, maybe?
we can talk later.
Okay.
Okay, do we have any more questions? Oh, well, I guess then can we give another round of applause?
Yeah, be the lover.
Press?
Yes. Oh, or hold it.
I'll hold it.
Yeah.
Thanks. So our next guest is a musical intermezzo by Dina. She's gonna play us two songs, one of her own songs and one cover, and in between she'll tell a little bit about the story behind the song. So please welcome Dina.
Whenever I'm thinking of me. this song is about sometimes longing to be a kid again because everything seemed so much easier and life was simple and fun. And when you grow up, you learn that not everything is so much fun anymore, and there are things as injustice and climate change and animals being treated so poorly. But luckily there's also good things, such as this event, and nice people, such as yourself, and the next song is not an original, it's by Michael Jackson, well, actually Jackson 5. And I used to listen a lot to Michael Jackson at home. And there was this one song that really, one of my favorite songs. And not only because it's a beautiful song, but also it's, the lyrics spoke to me. Because it's about someone that's being bullied or left out, and Michael Jackson sings to him that they can be friends and that he feels lucky to be friends with this boy. Well, so I thought it was about a boy, but a few years ago I discovered that it was about a rat. It was actually written for a rat. And that really, I thought it was so interesting because that shows that we have the same empathy towards animals. Well, some of us do, I mean all of us do, but we see it in films and comics, and especially children stories. They're often about animals, and they're the main characters, and they have these feelings, and just as we do. So this is Ben. Then the two of us need look no more. We both found what we were looking for. With a friend to call my own, I'll never be alone. And you, my friend, will see you've got a friend in me. Then you're always running here and there. You feel you're not wanted anywhere. If you ever look behind and don't like what you find, there's something you should know. You've got a place to go. I used to say, I am me. Now it's us. Now it's we. I used to say, I am me. Now it's us. Now it's we. And most people would turn you away.
Ready?
You do you, I just do me. You can start with it.
She told me when she was preparing for RAAF, I have a lot to say. To no one's surprise, because she is an outreacher through and through. Some of you might know her as Die Radikale Veganerin on Instagram. Yeah. Others know her as the founder of the platform Richtig Laut Vegan. Please forgive me.
Richtig Laut Vegan, of course, yeah.
There you go.
It was very good.
Thank you. And others know her as the founder of Neon Protest, of which I am also proudly a part now in Amsterdam. And then others know her as their favorite of the evening, Chip. She is going to talk a lot tonight.
Probably.
And I'm very curious about everything that she has to say.
Okay.
Please welcome Alexandra.
Hold on 1 second. I do it. Okay, give me 1 minute, guys, or 1 second. I just try to make it quick, okay? Okay, so this is working. This is working. They're both on. Double check. Hold on, I gotta make sure. Better I checked, huh? Awesome. Okay, so this is going. Okay.
I am going, and I put some water for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so. Okay, guys, I have to say, do I actually need a microphone because I'm so loud? Can you hear me? Because I'd rather hold my So how do I do?
Button.
It's forward?
Yep.
And the red one is back?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, guys, I gotta tell you, I'm very nervous, as I usually always am when I'm in front of an audience. So bear with me, but I try to make it as good as I can. Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Alexandra Silvia Aderholt-Wendt. I'm one of the 2 founders of Radical Loud Vegan, which is the English version right now that I put here of our actually German abolitionist animal rights movement, Richtig Laut Vegan. So we are let me try again. Okay, I'm sorry guys, it's on camera. I always mess up the beginning, but the rest will be fine. I'm super nervous. Okay, let me again. Okay. Thank you guys. It never happened. What you just saw did not happen. Okay, so. We love you. I love you too. So, hello everyone. My name is Alexandra Silvia Aderholt-Wendt. I'm one of the 2 founders of Richtig Laut Vegan, Radical Loud Vegan. We are an abolitionist animal rights organization focused on building effective animal-centered activism through projects like, for example, okay, we don't see the full slide. Is it? It's just half the slide. Can you try to fix? Okay, I just continue to talk then. Okay. No, that's not the one. Almost. Okay. So animal-centered activism projects like, for example, Team Animal Kind, which is an activism form that is focused on activism that is tailored towards children and their families. Talk about that in a couple of minutes, okay? We also came up under the umbrella of Richtig Laut Vegan, Radical Loud Vegan, with Richtig Live Vegan, which is an activism form that is tailored to streamers online who want to do online outreach and who want to educate others online and have debates even. We also have Schnittaffen, which is an activism form that is educating all platforms. We also have Richtig Laut Leben, which is an activism form that is connecting sanctuaries and helping hands so that everybody can just like start helping animals on the spot. Okay, so personally too, I just want to tell you about them, but at the moment they're just present in Germany. So we create free educational resources and workshops for activists on the street, online, in classrooms, and more. So for everyone who doesn't know what Neon Protest is, I'd like to show it to you and explain it to you. So Neon protest is actually the protest form that I came up with roughly a year ago. So I'm the founder of it, I'm also the designer of it, and we are right now active in, I guess, 7 countries and about 20 cities. So we grew very quickly over the last 12 months, which is actually insane. I was not expecting. My job right now is translating all the signs, which is a lot of work. But anyhow, for everyone who doesn't know,
The battery died in there.
oh my God, is it the top one?
I
No,
don't know,
I think it's this one. I think it's this one.
Usually the one where 3, just in case.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't, yeah, it's a little weird here. Okay, oh my God, guys. Am I AI now? What is happening? Okay. Okay. So for everyone who doesn't know what neon protest actually is, I'd like to show you our image film so that you have a better understanding of it. So please play the video. Just do it. Okay, I just go to the side. Guys, I'm so nervous. You don't know. You don't know. Okay. Amazing. So, has anyone of you heard of neon protest? Can you just raise your arms? Oh, that's pretty neat. That's pretty, what the fuck? That's pretty neat. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm swearing all the time when I'm excited. Okay, that's awesome. So, and for everyone who doesn't know what it is, yeah, I mean, you will see in a minute or two. It's fine. Oh, there we go. Okay.
This is a wake-up call for you. Do you stand for fairness? Do you stand for equality? Do you stand for peace? What if someone were stronger than you? Would it be okay for them to oppress you? Would it be acceptable if someone enslaved you? If someone violated you? If someone took your life from you? Are you an oppressor or a liberator? Are you a follower or the resistance? Are you on the side of justice or on the side of the oppressors? If you say you respect other animals, why do you act against them? If you are against animal exploitation, why do you still demand it? If you're for the animals, why aren't you vegan yet? We are the resistance. We are here because they need us. Let's abolish every form of animal exploitation. For the ignored, for the oppressed animal. They need people who will no longer stay silent. Be the resistance. Be vegan for the animals. Defend the other animals. Join us. Come to our next neon protest.
Awesome. Who of you... Thank you. Who of you recognized the voices? Okay, who was it? Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. That is so awesome. So we do have within neon protest music and voices that are played within the music, so that everybody can hear what we're here about and what our message is. So not just the people who talk with us, okay? But that's our image film. Now you have an idea what neon protest is. So for me, the question now was, when I was asked to have a presentation here, I was wondering the entire time, okay, so what should I talk about? Should I talk about my way of becoming vegan or an activist, or how I came up with neon protest, or about my strategies that I think are very, very good, or what else? But then I asked myself, if I were in the position of the other animals, what kind of talk would I want to hear from me? What is the most important thing animal rights activists should hear in the year 2026? And I think from their perspective, I would want this to be a talk that inspires activists to become the strongest and best educated defenders for the other animals. Our role as animal rights activists is to advocate for the other animals as effectively, coherently, convincingly as possible so that we can not only end the exploitation of all other animals, but also eventually establish legal rights for them. So I want to go into a little bit of a side quest with you right now. Please raise your hands again. Who of you is not a vegan? Okay, who of you? 3, 4, okay. Who of you is a vegan? I guess the rest. Okay, but who of the vegans is an activist too? That's awesome. So I made the right choice with this presentation. Okay, so who of the activists has heard of NTT/AMC? 1? Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it would be a little bit more. Okay, but NTT, it's called Name the Trade. Anyone has heard of it? Okay, well then you're here to learn something. That's nice. Okay, so, and who of you, of the people who raised their arms, would say that you can confidently apply it and that you fully understand it? Okay, a little insecure-ish. Okay, I get it. So let's continue with the presentation then. NTT-AMC. So these are strategies that we can use in our activism to make people understand their own values. Okay, so it's called Name the Trade, or AMC, the argument for marginal cases. So the argument from non-vegans is most of the time, but they're not humans. Animals are not as intelligent as we are, and there is simply a difference, right? It's always about the difference between us and other animals. Name the Trade is now basically asking for the ethically relevant trade difference between us and other animals that would justify the difference in treatment. So what is so different about us or them that justifies the different treatment, right? The argument for marginal cases is basically saying at its core, the argument is about consistency, coherence, and avoiding arbitrariness, because without these principles, no lasting and fair coexistence would be possible in a society, right? We don't want others to treat us arbitrarily. That is being mean, that is being discriminative. This is being how little children get beaten up at school just because, you know? So we got to talk about this. This is the circle of ethical consideration. What's outside of the circle is not ethically considered, and who is inside of the circle is ethically considered. To be ethically considered means that we take into account what the other one wants or doesn't want, what interests they have, and so on. So the status quo at the moment is that within the circle, I mean, we will get to it, but outside of it at the moment, there are, for example, electronics, even if they look like humans, or robots, for example, right? I mean, we don't have robot rights, so, I mean, you know what I mean? We have stones, we have objects like chairs or plants. So these things we don't put inside of the circle of ethical consideration. At the moment, inside of the circle, this is my sister, by the way, inside of the circle, we do have humans, the best of the best. And a little bit inside of the circle, just like the tip, like maybe a hand or a little finger, are all other animals, just a certain amount of them, maybe like 10% or whatever. So they're not fully in it, right? But we act as if we care, but actually we don't, right? So you know what the deal is, right? So let's have a look inside of the circle. Inside of the circle, all different humans are. Doesn't matter how old they are, how they look, how they walk, talk, what skin color they have, where they're coming from, what abilities or disabilities they have. We put them all in there and granted them human rights. Awesome, I'm so happy. So this is who is inside of the circle. And when you look here, the little chicken is just like popping in, she's like, what the fuck? Why? Where's everybody else? Where's everybody else? Literally, right? I'm wondering the same, that's why I'm here. So. The clicker is not working anymore? I'm just saying the clicker is not working anymore? Okay. I wish it would. No? No, it's not. It's not inside the circle. It's not inside the circle. Okay. I can also click this, or maybe, did I do something wrong? No, right? I don't know. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, thank you. So, why are all of them inside the circle of ethical consideration, and by what standard do we decide who belongs in it? That's a good question, right? So we can spot the differences between all of us: skin color, eye color, origin, sex, intelligence, abilities, DNA, everything that I just listed. But we understand that these differences are not relevant to be inside of the circle of ethical consideration. Then we can have a look at our similarities. And what we all have in common is that we all have a subjective life experience, right? We have a brain, a central nervous system. We have interests. For example, our biggest common interest, the interest in our own life. My life matters to me just as much as your life matters to you, right? And so the differences we agreed upon, like under the umbrella of human rights, the differences between us are irrelevant to the question of the circle, and the similarities are consciously considered and relevant. So now this all goes under the principle of equality. Treat equal interests equally and unequal interests unequally so that the outcome is fair, justifiable, and not arbitrary. This is ethics 101 in a nutshell, okay? This is why we have human rights. So, NTT, AMC at its core, I will just read it a lot, it will get funnier in a minute, okay? So, in order to claim that all and only humans deserve ethical consideration and that other animals therefore do not, there would have to be an ethically relevant trait X that can be attributed to all and only humans. Any trait that could ethically distinguish humans from other animals is absent in some humans, so-called marginal cases. The ethically relevant traits that all humans possess must also be attributed to many animals. Therefore, there is no way to consistently claim that all and only humans deserve ethical consideration. It's very dry, I know, it's very dry. But I wanted to make this fun so everybody understands. So this is Charlie, my sister, right? So let's talk about Charlie. Charlie has interests, desires, and needs, and she's, of course, inside of the circle of ethical consideration. For Charlie, it matters what happens to her. Warmth, safety, physical integrity are relevant to her well-being. Sometimes she wants to lie in the sun or move around. It can also change what she wants from day to day, right? She needs food, water, rest, and protection, and without these things, she cannot truly be well, regardless of what she currently wants. So, Charlie's inside it. And I want to show you a magic trick, okay? So the chicken got really, really, really upset because the chicken is not in the goddamn circle of ethical consideration. So it got a wand, right? A little magician chicken we have right here. Awesome. So, and it's looking at my sister and it's like, I'm swearing. Just okay, it's just like, what the fuck? Why is she in there and me is not? Why am I not in there? It's just so unfair. So the chicken does just like this. And all of a sudden, Charlie's IQ just dropped to the IQ of a chicken. Well, okay, it's still Charlie, still inside of the circle of ethical consideration, because otherwise we would be ableist, right? If we would exclude someone just because they're not as intelligent as the average human, right? So the chicken does the same again, it's still Charlie. And all of a sudden, one arm just got absolutely like, transformed to a wing. And the chicken does the same again. All of a sudden, there's a beak in Charlie's face. All of a sudden, Charlie has chicken feet. All of a sudden, it's still Charlie, by the way, yeah, okay. All of a sudden, my God, just look at it, okay? Charlie gets feathers all over and is slowly but steady. My God, my God. My absolute favorite picture, by the way. It was really fun to design them, so. Yeah, my sister as I love her. Okay, so, but it's still Charlie, okay? There's still the same someone inside of it, okay? And Charlie still experiences her own life. She still has the same interests, the same subjective experience. We just changed the skin, okay? Just like in a video game. So it's still Charlie. And so on until we have a chicken right there. So what this chicken did right now, the magic chicken, is it was transforming Charlie into a chicken by taking off all the irrelevant traits that don't matter and ended up being in the circle itself, which is absolutely gorgeous because in the end, still Charlie, this is what we have to understand. It's still Charlie. It's the same text as before, the same interests, the same desires, the same needs. Yes? So, ta-da, very good, very good. Awesome. So this would actually be the logical circle of ethical consideration, and we can reasonably make a case for it. We can argue for it. We can explain to people why it should be like that. And there is a saying, and it's called, don't do unto others what you don't want to be done unto yourself. And this is the explanation why. So that's basically it. we have a conclusion right now as well. So what is ethically relevant is whether a being has its own subjective experience and whether things can go well or badly for that being itself. So that's that interests, right? There is an external appearance, species membership, or cognitive ability are at most indirectly relevant because they may indicate the presence of subjective experience, but they are not independent grounds for exclusion. Where such subjective experience exists, it cannot be consistently justified to exclude that being from the circle of ethical consideration solely because of its form, species, intelligence, abilities, and so on. Beings with interests belong within the circle of ethical consideration. Simply because we do belong there, why shouldn't they? The differences, they're there. We can acknowledge them, but they don't matter in that sense, in that question, right? So, and there are multiple questions that we can ask non-vegans. I'm looking at you, 3 people here. There are multiple questions that we can ask. I just want to show some of them to you, okay? Then I get to my actual point. So, for example, what is the ethically relevant trait difference between us and other animals that would justify the difference in treatment? Or what would justify the exploitation in that sense? If we find a human with the same set of ethically relevant traits as an animal X, would it be then acceptable to exploit that human? Which trait is supposed to determine ethical consideration? And does it truly apply without exception to all humans? Would it be acceptable to exploit beings who are internally and externally just like humans, but do not belong to the human species? So for example, we have an alien, and they're made out of different biological mass, I don't know, but still it's the same thing. They feel, they think, they emote, they have dreams, they have wishes, desires, wants, and needs, and interests. It's all the same. Just when you beep a DNA tester, it's just like saying, oh, it's just not a human. It doesn't make any sense, you see? So, last question, do humans have rights because of our DNA molecules or because of our protectable interests? When we came up with the idea of human rights, nobody was just like, yeah, we're going to test every single one of you to see if you have human DNA and then we're going to grant you human rights. It never happened. We looked at everything that we all have in common, the basic similarities, and upon that we decided 77 years ago to betray all the other animals, to exclude them. We said human rights, yay, but animal rights for all of us? Nah, because we want to exploit them, right? So, people sometimes say, non-vegans, not just people, animals are not part of our societal contract, and there's no objective morality. Everything is subjective. Hypothetical examples have nothing to do with reality. Humans are humans, animals are animals. I think most of the activists here have heard it 1,000 times, right? So, but none of these objections answer the question of the relevant trait difference that would justify the exploitation of other animals. We can even grant all these objections. We can say, yeah, okay, yeah, other animals are not humans. You're right. But it still won't answer the question that we ask about this one single trait that would justify exploitation. Spoiler alert, there is no trait that anyone could have that could justify exploitation except for you're not someone. If you're not someone, I cannot exploit you. Plants, for example, looking at you. If you're not someone who has own interests, I don't have to consider you ethically because there's nobody to be considered in the first place. I cannot violate interests if they're not there. So that was the first part. So who of you learned something right now? Just anything. Well, that's pretty awesome. I love it. Okay. And who of you feels maybe now more comfortable in explaining why we should consider other animals? Well, that's pretty neat. I love it. Okay, good. So this shows us how important education and genuine understanding actually are. A huge part of genuinely understanding something is learning how to question things properly, asking questions, testing consistency, clarifying definitions, uncovering contradictions, and so on. If we think that the largest system of exploitation on this planet can be dismantled through surface-level activism alone, then I think we are not taking all chances that we have for the other animals. The questions surrounding veganism will likely become more increasingly complex in the future, which means we need to be prepared and answer practical, ethical, and societal questions in a thoughtful and well-informed way that makes the strongest possible case for the other animals. We need to prepare ourselves like lawyers, basically. We need to prepare a serious, strong case that is not just founded on I think, I feel, I love. We have to make it solid. This is a serious issue. We have to take it seriously, right? So my focus, therefore, lies on what I believe to be the most powerful approach in veganism and animal rights activism: being curious, critical, and proactive. Being curious means that we're willing to genuinely learn, that we're willing to ask questions, that we're willing to deepen our understanding of animal ethics, veganism, communication, and activism, instead of just staying at a surface level. Being critical means that we're willing to question our own arguments, willing to refine weak positions, willing to think carefully about whether what we say and do is actually true, coherent, and strategically useful. Proactive means that we're willing to work independently and seeking out knowledge on your own, that we're actively looking for problems within the movement that we can help solve, and that we're creating resources and ideas and solutions on our own initiative. Because, better educated and confident activists create better conversations, better outreach, and ultimately a stronger movement for the other animals. Whereas poorly reasoned arguments and sloppy slogans, misinformation, all these things within the movement might damage our credibility and make serious conversations much harder in the long run. If we don't do it good right now, future generations of activists have it harder. It is what it is. I don't want to point fingers at Peter, but what they did in the past with misinforming people is what we have to solve right now. And some of you may know what I'm talking about. If not, ask me later. So this curious, critical, and proactive approach is also deeply rooted in neon protest and basically everything I do for the other animals. So for example, at neon protest, when we have a briefing, one of the biggest parts of the briefing is actually brainstorming with everyone who's there. And we brainstorm what points do we actually bring across? What do we want to bring across to non-vegans? So for example, we want the abolition of animal exploitation. That's it. We're not against suffering, not against factory farming. We want the abolition of all animal exploitation. This is such an important point to make. We also brainstorm and bring up points like, okay, we need to talk about the ethical consideration of other animals, about the trade differences that people might use as a justification to exploit them to death. We can brainstorm about the principles that lie within the vegan movement itself, so veganism itself, the principle that humans should live without exploiting other animals and what comes from that, right? We also brainstorm what other points the non-vegans have to understand. So they have to understand that their actions contradict their own values, if they're not psychopaths. That they also have to understand that they are responsible for their own actions. And they also have to understand that they can stop immediately. They can't just stop doing that. We also brainstorm what is not the topic here. So for example, we're not talking about the environment or health or any other side tracks that are not directly linked to veganism itself. There might be accidental benefits from it, environmentally speaking and health-wise, but veganism is what feminism is to women. It's a rights movement, it's a justice movement, it is about the other animals, period. It's one time, it's not about us. Just this one time, it's not about us. So we also brainstorm what communication methods are effective, what kind of strategies we want to try maybe on the day, and what worked in the past and what not. And this brainstorming helps us not to lose the red thread during conversations. We also have outreach training every Sunday on our Discord server. It's going like 2 to 3 hours where we watch each other's videos, outreach videos, give each other feedback, or have even outreach simulations so that people can just train and see where they're good at or not good at, or maybe if they have certain situations that didn't went well, but they want to train on how to make them better in the future. And we also offer free educational resources built on ethical consistency and evidence-based reasoning, such as the Outreach Guide, which is a handbook for radical, clear, and animal-centered conversations leading to veganism. Or, for example, the Gore magazine, which is a magazine just filled with gory images of animal exploitation. Not the worst, just the standard, so that we can just bring it to people directly and show it. It's good to have in your backpack, right? Yeah, he has it with you. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So that's okay, pretty good. We're also providing activists with different flyer materials, with protest signs. I mean, you've seen the neon signs, that's why I didn't put them here again, right? Or with street activism signs. Maybe the ones of you who knew me on my YouTube, I do live streams where I use this the most, and it's one of the best approaches to make people vegan on the spot. It is so easy, it is so good. We also give out things for free for activists to use, like the folder, which is my baby. I just redone it, and I want to show you a little bit of it because the folder shows basically the structure of our core argumentation when we meet a non-vegan for the first time. Imagine a non-vegan is in front of you, has never heard of anything, like me 8 years ago, just does nothing, has never thought about anything at all regarding this, and you want to make it easy for them to understand it, right? Let's exclude street activism for a moment, because street activism is very short-timed, okay? But the folder can be used in different scenarios, but my favorite scenario is just asking people, hey, do you have 20 minutes or so? There's something very important that I want to talk about with you. It's really heavy on my mind, and I just want to talk with you about it. I just want to talk with you about it. And then you sit down. This is, by the way, how I made my brother vegan in 20 minutes. And then you sit down. Yeah, and many other people too. And by the way, I'm showing you just a few insights of it, so it's not the full thing. The full thing is 96 pages. So I just show you a little bit of it so you get an idea of what's inside, okay? And also I don't want it to put bloody pictures on here, okay? So the folder of empathy, justice, and logic. So you see this, there's a lot of in it. So this is basically, the table of contents, as you can see. So it's also color marked so that you can quickly see where you want to go. It starts with general stuff, so what is important to us, why do we actually care about other animals, for example, pets or wildlife, just the societal standards, right? Then it goes on to the basic knowledge that we maybe have to tell to vegans, to non-vegans, for example, that humans are animals, okay? We are not outside of it. We are vertebrates and we are animals. I know you know, but my man. There's a reason why this is in there, okay? So you know it, okay? So non-vegans sometimes really think that we're not animals, and it's really, really funny. Okay, so then it explains things like sentience, what is sentience, where it's coming from. I tried to boil it down to not much text, pictures to understand, so that it's very easy to digest, because actually it's pretty easy to digest. So I thought, why make it more complicated, right? So we have animals versus plants. We can see plants don't have a centralized nervous system, therefore they can't have any sentience. This is why people are not outraged when we mow the lawn. It's not a Holocaust here, right? Right? It's just mowing the lawn. Okay, good that we're on the same page. So it goes further about the what is ethics part, and it just shows how not only our interests count, but also the interests of all these other animals, right? It goes over what we just discussed a little bit, justice and arbitrariness, what it actually means. We don't want to be bullied as kids. Come on, this is so unfair, right? And this is basically we all know the feeling of being excluded or of being treated unfairly, and why should we put this onto other animals? It goes on talking about what interests actually are, and because most people are maybe not aware of what that means. So you can do something against the interests of someone or in the interests of someone. So even if we take a child to the doctor to get them, or let's take pets, okay? Even if we take our pets to the doctor, to the vet, they don't like it. I adopted 2 cats, they do not like it, okay? So bringing them into this box, they do not like it, they hate it there, they scream, they just don't like it. But still, I bring them to the vet regularly to get their blood work checked and so on, because it's in their best interest, even though they yell and scream and cry and it hurts and they don't like it. It's the same with children and with elderly people and stuff. So that's that, you understand, right? Then the ethically relevant traits that we were just talking about with some human-related examples. And I'm bringing up the human context a lot within this ethical part because within the ethics that regard humans, humanity has already understood what is ethical and what's not. That is so good. But when it comes to other animals, we haven't. So we got to make non-vegans understand why we got to think in that way. So when we say in the human context, we should take care of the ones who are weak, who are not as intelligent, who need our help, who need assistance, and so on, there is no good reason on why we should then treat animals who are also at our mercy, let's say it like that, any different, right? But we use it as a justification to exploit them even, which is insane. So it just shows what discrimination is. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It just shows what speciesism is. It explains what what do you say it? Analogies? What a stupid word. Analogien. Okay. So I'm sorry, guys. Okay. We are also explaining to them what analogien are. And because sometimes people get a little bit confused of why we actually compare us to other animals. It's because we are so similar, and it's because there's nothing relevantly different between us and them when it comes to set things, that's exploitation and so on. It also contains a very simplified explanation of what exploitation actually is, because people might ask that, and it would be great if activists would have a good answer, a good solid answer to that, so that we know our stuff, right? So it's basically like a school book in that sense. It also explains what enslavement is. By the way, both are real pictures, absolutely terrible. It also explains what humane actually means and what it is, and it also shows how weird it is that in one case we say it's murder and in the other we say it's humane, right? And I think it's very powerful to show non-vegans those comparisons next to each other so they understand a little bit more. We also show the different justifications in the folder. We show the responsibility that people have and the difference between lions and humans, right? Who do you identify with? Like, I'm sorry, sometimes it's a little, you can't take the fun out of it too, right? Sometimes we gotta laugh about the stupid stuff within all this crazy shit, right? Okay, so it also explains what animal welfare and animal well-being is and how these words are used within the animal exploitation industries and how they use it to manipulate people and stuff. It also shows the forms of exploitation, so the 5 big categories. We exploit other animals for food, clothing, entertainment, testing, the pet industry, transport, and so on and so on. But these are the 5 big ones. And then it goes into the practical side of things. So what are the actual practices? What comes out? Or what do we want to have? And what do we have to do, right? And so it just goes simple steps, one image, just explaining what is going on for many, many, many animals. So I just skipped through and I left out a lot of these animals because I don't want to show you gruesome images tonight, okay? I think you've seen it all. I think you know it all. Somebody tell me when this is going south? Okay, thank you. Okay, so it also shows the humane washing part, so everything with the labels, so that the non-vegan understands within this 20 minutes what is going on. It's not that they're being lied to, it is just that the marketing is pretty damn good, right? It's just that the marketing is pretty damn good and it wants people to feel good about their purchases and about being not vegan, and people just should be aware that this is not representing what is actually going on, right? It's not that they are trying to lie to us, they just have good marketing people, right? So it also is showing like farm versus sanctuary, because many non-vegans don't know what a sanctuary actually is. It is showing the other exploitation categories besides food, such as clothing, animal testing, entertainment, transport, the exploitation for pet breeding, and so on. By the way, all of these images that you see that are very, let's say, gruesome, these are real. Some of them are AI generated, like the nice ones, where I just wanted to make a point, right? But these are all real, just so you know, for your information, okay? It dives into psychology. So it just shows you what cognitive dissonance is and how you feel and why you get cognitive dissonance. It goes into what veganism and animal rights activism actually is and what follows from all these things that we learned before in the folder, right? My God. My God. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. It's just a little bit. Okay. It explains what a vegan-compatible diet is. And it also shows people the B12 supplement situation, so the other animals also get supplemented. Why not take it yourself? It's pretty clean from the lab there. You know what is in there. There's no problem with it. It's healthy, so why not do that, right? It also shows the developments and resistance. So we are the resistance. So this is basically to show people this is not a small movement. This is not something tiny. This is not just a freak show as I've heard it before. This is an animal rights movement where many people are already in, and we are a fast-growing movement around the world. And this issue is to be taken seriously, right? And it ends in vegan from now on, where it points out to the most important question that we have to ask non-vegans: how many more animals should be exploited to death for you from now on? What do you wish for? Make a wish. And so when these people say 0, of course, we know you have vegan values. The good thing is you can do it from now on. You can just stop exploiting other animals. Isn't that nice? And then we are at the end of the folder. As I said, it's much thicker in real life, but anyhow. It also gives out additional resources so that they can educate themselves with Dominion to see what is really going on. They get information on how to live vegan, like guides for nutrition and all these things that people might need, and so on and so on. So what I want to say with all of these things, and by the way, you can scan this as you wish to get everything for free, the folder and all other resources, they're all up to date all the time. We're working on them and reviewing them every couple of months to make sure that they're up to date, that they have the best information in it, the best phrasing, the best images, and so on, because it's so important that we don't throw out trashy educational material. I hate it. This is why this is what I focused on mostly, to make it accessible, to make it digestible, and to make it always up to date. So we are fighting what may be the biggest injustice in the history of this planet, as I said. We are currently, at the same time, at the most important point of the animal rights movement, and I'm not sure that everybody is really aware of that. It has never been like this before. We are globally connected. We have access to the internet. We have free education. We can all collaborate with each other, and we're never as many as we are today, which is awesome. Which means that when we think about the history of the animal rights movement in the past, you know, there were waves coming and things happening and stuff, but we were never as many as we are right now, and it is getting mainstream. It is becoming more popular. You can see the vegan labels. Heck, everybody knows what a vegan is by now. 50 years ago, nobody knew. So we are making a change, and we shouldn't forget about it. And I think this is pretty damn inspiring. And I think now the most important thing is to focus on good education. We cannot stop at the slogans, although sometimes they're nice, sometimes they work for a little bit of attention, right? But we got to go deeper than that. This is what I'm saying. So returning to my original question, what is the most important thing that animal rights activists should hear in the year 2026? We should all strive to become curious, critical, and proactive. Curious enough to learn deeply, critical enough to question ourselves and refine our own arguments, proactive enough to create useful resources for the movement and share them freely and continuously seek out knowledge on our own. We should use our individual abilities as effectively as possible for the other animals. And we should never assume that we already know enough, because we probably don't, let me tell you. So always keep on track, keep looking for knowledge, just learn things. It's fun, it's really fun. So let's become the strongest advocates we can possibly be for the other animals. Be curious, critical, and proactive. And the most important thing, of course, let's be radical, loud, and vegan. So that was my presentation. I still got 2 points. So just a nice add-on, okay? So If you consider yourself to be a curious, critical, and proactive person, hit me up. We are right now building Richtig Laut Vegan in Germany, or we've already built it and it's huge and we've done a lot and we have a big community. We have hundreds of activists under our umbrella, which is pretty damn awesome. Such an amazing community, no drama, just work. I love it. We also plan to roll out Radical Loud Vegan internationally within the next decade. Better in the next 5 years, but we need people who work internationally because we cannot go in every single country every week and do the work, right? So if you consider yourself a person who is also able to, for this job, hit me up. I'd like you to come to our community and to get it started, okay? And also for the ones of you who are interested in Neon Protest, tomorrow at 2? Yeah, at 2 o'clock. Yes, at Museum Plein. We do have a Neon Protest. And I will also be there, and I'm pretty excited because it's my first neon protest in another country, so that is pretty damn awesome. And yeah, I just want to thank you everyone for listening, and I hope that you could take something from it. And I also put flyers and material up there. It's not much because I'm a little bit low on English material, but there are flyers which you can just take. They have 2 sides. It's the English side is the red one for you. The other side is German, right? This is the one we give out at Neon Protest. It looks like this. It's very simple. It's also with a multiple choice, so that it's very easy to digest too. And it gives you all the information that you need as an activist, but also as a vegan. So it's everything in there. Take one of these. I also put there 3 animal rights guides. These are a little bit old, but still very good. So don't worry, you can first serve first, or whatever the saying is. So you just go there and take one, okay? And then I just want to show you one thing, because I was mentioning it in the beginning, and then I'm done. I made it so long, right? It's, you know what? We have that 1 minute we have. Okay, so in the beginning, I was telling you about Team Animal Kind, which is our activism forum that is tailored towards children and their families and also people who benefit from simple language. And you've seen the folder right now. We also made a mini folder. This is the German version, but this is the one we specifically tailored for children. So it has no gruesome images in it. It's very cute, it's very simple, and it's also in a different language. Because children, of course, they wouldn't understand anything I just said, right? But the issue at hand is still easy enough to break down so that people who benefit from simple language can easily understand it. We will translate it. We will also update it within the next weeks. And you can also download it, use it on your phone. You can print it out yourself. You can do whatever you want with it. Everything that you've seen today is free, even the presentation. You can download everything online. And I hope that you liked what we do. And see you tomorrow at Neon Protest.
Yeah.
You're not done.
Oh my God, I'm not done?
No.
I was so relieved.
Yeah, no.
It's
So,
my guys.
I'll just take this
Yeah, please.
microphone. I know this
My
one's-
boob was really hanging out halfway.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay, we won't zoom in the video, right? Right, YouTube, right? Okay. My God.
I mean, there were people watching. So.
I mean, you're welcome. So.
Okay.
Okay.
So since you address vegans and non-vegans, I actually have a question for you. And it was actually right there in the YouTube channel. Some
Hey,
non-vegans joined, and they asked an interesting question, which, since there are some non-vegans here, I would like to ask you also.
Yes.
There are medicine, for example, I don't know if you ever heard of heparin.
Yeah.
It's a medicine that's specifically made from pigs. And obviously we have the technology to make it also vegan, but there just isn't that medicine yet on the market. And some people depend on it for their life, right? Like they make medicine to lower blood pressure out of it. The question is, would you still be vegan if you take that medicine?
That's a very good question. Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very good question. Veganism itself means that we are striving to live a life that rejects animal exploitation. We live in a non-vegan world, in a shitty, non-vegan, animal exploitative world, which means that there will always be situations where we have to rely on things that are not vegan to survive. If there is literally nothing else, I cannot ask anyone to just die. because veganism is a lifestyle, not a dying style, right? And so a dead vegan is not really helpful for the animals. So we got to be alive and well to help the other animals. No, I mean, it's true, right? So that would be my answer.
Okay. We're out of time for more questions, but Alexandra's still here, and you can come to her, ask her questions.
Yes.
She does an amazing job. She only showed like a half of the stuff that she does. She also helped me make my signs. She made signs that people are using worldwide, and she does a lot of excellent design. So can we give another round of applause for Alexandra?
I was way too long, right?
I don't know which one this is.
I think the lower one was yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me quickly wrap up. It's 9 o'clock, so we can start the borrel. I just wanted to say thanks to Pakhuis de Zwijger for hosting us tonight, for Pijke, the people doing the sound, preparing the food, and also at the bar. So please, a round of applause for them. Then I'd like to thank our speakers who had these inspiring talks tonight, so also another round of applause. Then yet another one for our moderator, Chip. And finally for yourselves for showing up tonight in such great numbers. And then finally, one more thing. If you enjoyed tonight, consider making a small donation to help us break even. There's a QR code on the left. So yeah, please scan it and donate some money so we can organize another RAAF in a couple of months. And if you feel inspired by tonight, you can join a Signal group on veganactivists.nl, or you can scan the QR code. It's a Signal group in which all the vegan events here in the Netherlands are shared. So if you like to know what's going on and how you can help out, then go to this website, veganactivists.nl. And as I said, there's now a bottle, some drinks and snacks just right here until 11 o'clock. And then we can move down, if the party is still going on, to the regular cafe. So thanks again, and see you at the bottle.
Sorry. Okay, everyone. I'm gonna say goodbye to everyone. We had a bit of technical difficulties there. I've just been behind this. I'm pretty tired, but that's okay. It's been a good thing. It's very warm in here. You can't actually tell how warm it is. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you enjoyed all of this. And I'll see you again tomorrow, okay? We're gonna do some outreach tomorrow, neon protest, okay? Appreciate all of you for being here. And thank you for being so awesome. I hope you learned something from this. And yeah, I'll put a link towards RAAF, and maybe you'll find all the resources there, okay? Thank you so much, everyone. See you